high school bands. We see them at sporting events and we see them at parades. But what we don't see is the amount of time and energy invested by each member as they strive to perform at their best. So today, we'll go beyond the musical performance and examine what it takes to put together a successful band program, as we take a look at the Port Huron Northern Symphonic Band in the classroom.
Music education, and that entails, the notes and the rhythms and things. Putting an ensemble together from students from, Fort Gratiot and Holland Woods and some from Central, and making them a musical, workable ensemble. And to do that, it takes a lot of time and effort on both my part and the students' part. And the training that they get in the intermediate schools directly reflects on what my band product will be up here. And the training that they are receiving in Fort Gratiot and Holland Woods is excellent. That's why our program continues to excel. Most people see our marching band, and we put on about a 12-minute show for halftime. The practice that goes into that is a band camp for 5 days, marching between 8 and 10 hours a day. Our rehearsals start at 7:30 in the morning, and we go from 3 to 5 after school. And so for 12 minutes worth of show, I don't even know, countless hours. But the product they see is the efforts of a lot of people. And a guess would be 20 hours of practice per minute of show, maybe.
The hours may be long and the work tedious, but ask any band member and they'll tell you it's worth it. Jeff Ray has been playing the trombone since the 6th grade and has been part of Northern's band for 3 years.
When you're done with a concert, you really get a feeling of accomplishment after a concert, especially when it goes well. It's fun afterwards because of the applause. Especially like in marching competition, at the end everybody's standing up and applauding, when they're applauding for you. Yeah, it's exciting.
Derek Crawford, a percussionist, has been playing for 8 years, 2 with Northern's band.
Well, being in band, you get to, you take trips to competitions, and sometimes you meet other people from other schools. It gives you a sense of pride when you take the field after having gone to marching camp for a week, and, marching up to 10 hours a day sometimes. And, it makes you feel good when you take the field and are doing your show that you've worked for.
But the satisfaction of performing isn't all that band has to offer. Something far more valuable is attained through participation in this group: friendship. Rhonda Mitchell has played in band since the 6th grade. She plays the B-flat and bass clarinets for Northern. In her 3 years in Northern's band, Rhonda has made many new friends.
Everyone gets along, and everyone's like, if in sports, you get to know everyone through sports, but with being in band, it's like you play together, and when you go away to camps, it's just like a big family, everyone knows everyone really well.
Lonnie Howard agrees with Rhonda. She's been in band since the 6th grade, and for the past 4 years has played mellophone, French horn, and trumpet for Northern.
All my friends are in band, and all my best friends in band, and it's really, you feel so close and always secure, and people always support you. It's like a family, but it's better than a family because you don't have any brothers and sisters. You're more like your friends, and it's less fighting.
For a group of this nature, it is very important for everyone to get along. Learning new material requires dedication and cooperation from all members. At times, it becomes very frustrating, but the hard work is necessary for the band to sound their best.
Third cornet doesn't have an E half note to a D sharp. Add that note. Okay, yeah.
to motivate them day after day is a drain on me and a drain on the kids. And, but that's tough to do.
First cornet. Did I hear you? E flat, starting on the E flat. 1, ready, and. Whoops. A flat it goes to. Somebody's overshooting, done. Okay, ready? Y'all ready? E flat. 1, here. Now you hit the right note, I'll play the tune. Okay? Come on, Dougie. 1, ready, and.
The only thing that gets me down is when it's not going well at practices, when it's just, or I guess you'd say, when practices isn't going well, nobody's really trying. When everybody's not really trying, it's just dumb mistakes one after another, but it usually comes together, but that's when you get burned out, I guess you'd say.
Well, when you're working really hard, the person next to you doesn't know their part, and it's kind of like they're letting you down because you're counting on them and they're not helping, they're not doing their part. That really frustrates you, especially during marching season when you have to do the same thing like 14 times in a row because the person next to you doesn't get it. You're like, you gotta keep your patience and not yell at them.
Somebody's not getting to that note. It's one person that just moves the line. Take it one more. Let's take everybody. 89.
The people at a drop of a hat figured that we could just put a band out someplace. And as my statement earlier, 20 hours of work for 1 minute of a performance. It's not that easy. You have to organize your group and be ready to perform. And whatever you put out there directly reflects on your program. The recognition we get is at the district band festivals, the state band festivals, when we go on trips. But the everyday things that we do, we don't get a lot of recognition. It's just expected that, the band is going to be there. The band is going to be at a football game. The band is going to be at basketball games. The band is going to be in parades. It's just part of the job.
hard work eventually pays off. The Port Huron Northern Band has traveled to competitions all over the country, taking many awards along the way.
I've been on 3 trips with the band. In Classroom PHN, I went to Virginia Beach. When I was a sophomore in Toronto, last year we went to Myrtle Beach.
The trips are great motivators. The students have to raise their own money, but when they see the goal, it's amazing how hard they'll work. Last year at Myrtle Beach, came home with a number of awards. We were selected as best in class for marching. We were selected as the most outstanding wind ensemble. And we were competing against people from, the eastern seaboard. And Port Huron Northern did a real fine job representing our district.
Well, I've only been on 2 trips myself. Toronto trip, then we've gone to Myrtle Beach. But the band, before I got here, they've been to Florida and everything. The trips are fun.
Although competitions require a lot of practice time and hard work, the band does find time to have a little fun. In fact, practical jokes seem to be a prerequisite for participation in this band.
The drum line is famous for that.
And do you have an example?
Well, over Christmas, the drum line, we put a Christmas tree in Mr. Christensen's office without him knowing about it, fully decorated with a present underneath it. And we locked the door when we left, so he had no idea how it got in there.
Well, at band camp, there's always interesting situations where, playing jokes on people in their cabins. And I remember when I was a sophomore, I got picked up and carried on to it's like a swamp lake, and threatened to thrown in, but there's the tub in the band room, and they always like putting freshmen in there and getting them wet, which isn't so much anymore because we kind of got in trouble. But
I thought the funniest one was, I think it's last year, right before the state marching competition, our percussion section, the 3 best drummers and 3 of the most important people all came in with casts on. One had a broken leg, body cast and everything, stood there right before we were to leave. It was all a joke, but Mr. C, our director, didn't know that, and that was funny because nobody really knew, and we would never have gotten a first if they would have been hurt.
One time when I was first time Mr. C was here, we have an orange sale every year, and they pretended that the bus kept being delayed, and they called in one time from his own office and told me it was the bus from Florida calling me and saying it would be another day or so later.
And I came back out of the band room just ready to pull my hair out. And I looked at the students, they're all sitting there very, very solemn. And I said, I'm getting really ticked off about this fruit stuff. The truck, again, isn't here. And all of a sudden I started snickering. And I said, oh yeah, and then I went and explained what happened. And then they started laughing more. They thought it was fun. Then I found out it was Chris Aslanian and went down to the payphone and called me and pulled a real fast one over on me. That was one of the better ones that has happened in the last 3 years.
As we've seen, it takes an effort from many different people to build a successful band program, and Port Huron Northern Symphonic Band has achieved that success. Although anyone who has ever heard their music benefits, it is the band student who benefits the most. Entering the band as a young, impressionable adolescent, the student grows over the years and leaves as a mature, responsible adult with new confidence and new friends.
Most satisfying is seeing the progress of the students. When you get them as freshmen and when you see them